This story began 10 years ago in the state of Kentucky. One day, a girl named Emily, who was 22 years old, bought a ticket for an excursion to the state of Indiana. She planned to spend 3 days in Indiana. She packed her things for the trip and arrived at the place where a big bus was waiting for her and other tourists. Before she got on the bus, her phone vibrated and some weird music played on her phone. Emily had never heard that kind of music on her phone, and she had never turned on the vibrate mode on it. She saw that there was a voice message from an unknown caller. Emily started listening to the voice message and heard a rough voice that said, very insistent and demanding, "Don't get on this bus. Don't get on." Emily froze in place with horror, telling everyone that she couldn't go and refused the tour. She stood there like she was frozen and didn't understand what was happening to her. After this message, she cried. Emily was scared and watched the bus of tourists drive away. After the bus went around the corner, she calmed down, wiped her tears, and tried to find out who could have sent her the message. However, she was unsuccessful. By evening, she returned home. Emily was upset, not sure why she hadn't gone to Indiana. She pulled out a bottle of wine and settled into a cozy chair, determined to spend this evening in front of the television with a glass of wine. At one point, one of her favorite shows was interrupted by a breaking newscast on a local TV station. The news anchor was talking about how the driver of a busload of tourists headed to Indiana had lost control of the bus, and the bus with the tourists flew over a bridge railing and plummeted from a great height. No one survived the crash. In the years following the incident, Emily realized that some kind of miracle had happened. Thanks to that scary voice on the phone and that message, she was still alive. After that incident, she had received similar voice messages on her phone from buses with that frightening, husky voice. Emily wasn't afraid of flying on airplanes. However, before one of the flights, she was at the airport at the check-in counter. Emily's phone vibrated again, and unfamiliar music played. It was it again. The ominous message, "Don't get on this flight. Don't get on this plane." So, she did. An hour later, she learned that the plane had crashed and there were no survivors. She received the next message when she was going on a date at a cafe on the outskirts of the city. Emily wanted to meet a young man she had met online. An hour before the date, she received another message on her phone. A husky voice warned her, "Don't go to this meeting. Don't meet him ever." Emily did. She couldn't help but trust this voice that had saved her life twice. Almost 6 months later, one of the TV channels showed the guy with whom Emily did not go to the cafe. The man was apprehended by police and charged with the deaths of 6 girls. She realized from the pictures that all of these girls were similar in appearance to Emily. The police found their bodies 400 feet away from the cafe where they were supposed to meet Emily. Emily received another warning of danger when her friends invited her into the woods for a picnic. A short time later, Emily was told that there had been a fire in the forest the night before, and all her friends died in that forest fire. Emily had an older brother who lived with his family 3 blocks from her home. One Thanksgiving, her brother invited Emily to his house to celebrate the holiday with family and warm friends. Surrounded by relatives, the evening went perfectly. There was a delicious dinner, good drinks, and pleasant socializing. When Emily got ready to go home, her brother kindly offered to give her a ride home in his car. She said goodbye to her relatives, and her older brother drove her home. Upon arriving at the house, Emily got out of the car, and her brother walked her to the house. They said goodbye, and the brother went to his car. As soon as he opened the car door, he heard a loud pop behind him. After a moment, he realized it was an explosion, which threw him off to the side. When emergency services and police arrived on the scene, they found out that there had been a gas explosion in the house. Those people who were inside the house did not survive. When Emily's brother came home,
He told her what had happened. He went to the kitchen and saw Emily's cell phone on the table, which she had forgotten. He picked up that phone and noticed that there was an unread message on there. With trembling hands, he pressed the listen button, and a hoarse voice came out of the phone and said, "Don't go back to your apartment today. Don't come to your house today.